Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So my name is Araceli Medina. I am the academic counselor this school year. And with us, we do have our Dean of Culture, Mr. Mendoza.
Hello, hello, greetings, families. Mucho gusto.
Yes, and we also have additional team members from the 7th grade that are joining us in this call, and you might have seen already present in the chat. Hola, bienvenidos. Mi nombre es Araceli Medina, soy la consejera académica de este año escolar. Con nosotros tenemos a Mr. Mendoza, el decano de cultura, y también como ha visto en el chat, a lo mejor ya ha visto que hay maestros de séptimo grado presentes en el chat. Nos da muchísimo gusto que nos hayan sido parte de esta junta el día de hoy, tomado tiempo de su horario para poder estar presente este día. We thank you all so much for taking the time for being with us tonight. It is very important that you attend this meeting, and we are happy that you are here. We are going to go ahead and get started to respect everyone's time. Vamos a empezar para respetar el tiempo de todos de ustedes para poder comenzar esta junta. Now, the purpose of our meeting, so we are going to talk a little bit about in terms of our STAAR exams. We're also going to be talking about the grading importance and the grading support that we are going to offer at Idea Bluff Springs. Now, we're also going to go over general in-person guidelines that might be necessary if you decide your child might be attending in person after this meeting. Vamos a empezar la junta en términos de la agenda. Vamos a hablar del propósito del examen de STAAR, la importancia de los grados este año escolar y el apoyo que vamos a brindar a todos los estudiantes en términos de los grados. Y al final de la junta vamos a hablar en términos de qué es lo que tiene que hacer para si usted decide que su hijo o hija regresará en persona. Now, for your STAAR exam, so 7th grade is going to have 3 exams this year. So I know last year 6th graders did not have to take the end of year exams for STAAR with the reading and math. This year we are projected to actually be taking the reading, writing, mathematics. We do not have a lot of information due to COVID, but students are going to be tested in these 3 subjects in the months to come and the days to come. We do have a semester exam coming up soon, which is a full release STAAR exam that is going to help us project in terms of where our students are at for those end of year exams. En el séptimo grado, los estudiantes van a estar tomando 3 exámenes, que es lectura, escritura y matemáticas. El año pasado, desafortunadamente, no pudimos tomar 2 exámenes de lectura y matemáticas por la situación que estábamos, pero este año estamos proyectados a tomar esos 3 exámenes de lectura, escritura y matemáticas. Es en unos varios días, los estudiantes van a tomar un examen del STAAR como práctica para saber cómo estamos y cómo vamos a proyectar para el año final. Entonces, es muy importante que tenga esto en mente durante esta junta. Now, in terms of the purpose of our STAAR exams, so TEA exams are mandatory state exams required for each student to take. So 4 depending on the grade level. There are either 2, 3, again, so depending on the grade level, students have to take these exams. These exams are designated to assess the students' achievements and knowledge learned in each grade level. And this district does design specific curriculum and that spirals in material that a student is needed in order for them to be ready and successful that last exam or for the STAAR exams that are taken in the end of the year. Now, also, IDEA does design mid-unit exams and unit exams in order for students to be able to track in terms of are they on track to meet their goal and pass these exams at the end of the year. So it is very, very important that they are coming to class and taking these exams provided by the district. Now, en términos de la propuesta del STAAR, ¿cuál es el propósito de estos exámenes de STAAR? Primero que nada, estos exámenes son mandatorios para cada estudiante. Dependiendo del grado, a lo mejor hay 3, 4, 2, dependiendo del grado. Estos exámenes están viendo si los estudiantes están a nivel académico que debe de estar para cada grado. Entonces, el distrito sí nos provee material para poder preparar a los estudiantes durante el año para que pasen estos exámenes. Durante las clases tomarán exámenes de mid-unit como medio capítulo o al final del capítulo hay exámenes para saber cómo van los estudiantes en cada examen o si están van a cumplir la meta de pasar esos exámenes. Now, if you have a question along this presentation, we encourage you to go ahead and use that chat in order for us to answer some of those questions that you might have. Si a cualquier punto de esta presentación tiene preguntas, le pedimos que por favor utilice la cajita de chat para escribir esas preguntas y poder responderlas. Now, in terms of our grading importance, now, if you have not received your report card, you will be receiving the report card for your son or daughter in the upcoming days. Those were mailed out on Friday. It is very, very important that students are attending in live classes in order for them to be able to be on track to graduate and be ready for those STAAR exams. Now, usually, if our students are not attending or engaged in their classes, this will result in them not being able to pass their exams or their current classes. So it is very, very important that they are attending their classes and engaging and participating in class. Now, by law, students need to get a 70 or higher in their classes to be considered passing. Now, especially this is important for our high school students, maybe not necessarily for our middle school students, but it is important that they are on track passing their classes, because that means that they are prepared to master and pass those STAAR exams. Now, it is by law that high school students need a certain amount of credits in order to graduate from high school. So this might not pertain for our middle school 7th grade scholars, but just keeping in mind that if they are passing their classes with a 70 or higher, once they get into that 8th grade and 9th grade, they are going to be more likely to be more successful. So grades are important, and we will talk about grades a little bit more. Now, en términos de la importancia de los estudiantes, entonces sabemos que el distrito nos da específicos exámenes para ver si el estudiante está listo para los exámenes del STAAR. Es muy importante que los estudiantes estén viniendo a clases, si no es en persona, ¿verdad? Que no se siente segura que venga a la escuela, que pueda estar participando en sus clases en vivo. Si el estudiante no está viniendo a clase o no está participando en clases, eso podría resultar que no está comprendiendo el material que es necesario para pasar el examen del estado o su clase actual. Entonces, es de ley que los estudiantes tienen que pasar con un 70% o más en todas sus clases, ¿verdad? En la high school, cuando lleguen a 9º o 10º grado, es usualmente que los estudiantes tienen que pasar con un 70 o más. En la preparatoria, en la secundaria, como están ahorita, entonces el 70, si no agarran 70 pueden pasar, pero cuando lleguen a los grados más altos, entonces más difícil es de pasar los exámenes y los grados. Entonces queremos que todos los estudiantes estén pasando con un 70 o más para que puedan sacar buenas calificaciones en esos exámenes finales. Now, grading support. Now, we are encouraging all our parents to support us in this, because as of right now, we see that on average, bloodstream students are logged on or engaged for their classes for a total of 40 minutes a day. So now this is very, very important information. Some of your students might not apply to this, but on average, our bloodstream students are logging in for a total of 40 minutes. So that's less than an episode on Netflix or watching or playing video games. So it is very, very important that you monitor the activity in terms of, are they being active on Teams? Are they in front of the laptop? Are they completing their work? So what this means in terms of their 40 minutes a day is that engagement is extremely low. Academic averages are extremely low. Students are not taking advantage of their live classes. Now, this is an important one because not all schools in the Austin region are offering live teachings, which means that students usually have to see a recording of their teacher. For the most part, we actually have our 7th grade teachers and electives going live now in order for the students to get that one-on-one or the live support that they might need, whether it be through chat or through their coming off mute. So we are offering live classes for our students, and it's not something that my students are taking advantage, and not all of our students. Some students are definitely attending class every day. So it is very, very important that you track your student if they are attending in order for them to surpass that 40-minute average that we see right now. Now, we definitely are asking you for your support to ensure that your students are completing the following. So attending the live classes is very important, making sure that they are able to see their live lectures for all their core classes and also their electives. And we do want them to be focused as much as possible during lectures. So that means that no distractions. We understand that they might be watching TV, multitasking, or being on their phone. So we highly encourage that they monitor the student. We know that it's not possible like throughout the whole day, but making sure that they are focused as much as possible.
Ms. Medina, on the last slide, could you translate that in Spanish? I believe we may have skipped that on the last slide.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
So, en términos de los minutos que estamos participando, ¿verdad? Estos no son todos los estudiantes, pero la mayoría, unos de los estudiantes están nada más activos por 40 minutos al día. Entonces, estamos hablando que es menos de un episodio de la televisión, un juego electrónico o el tiempo que pasan en el teléfono. Entonces, lo que esto significa es de que no están participando. Los grados académicos están muy bajos. Los estudiantes no están tomando provecho de las clases en vivo que estamos dando en nuestra escuela. Las escuelas de Austin, no muchas están dando esta oportunidad para estudiantes, lo que significa, ¿verdad?, que los maestros en otras escuelas están dando video y el trabajo. Entonces, aquí tenemos los maestros que todos los días están viéndose en vivo, hablando del tema del día, contestando preguntas, ayudando a los estudiantes por chat, uno a uno, ¿verdad? Se le manda chat privado. Entonces, queremos que los estudiantes tomen esa oportunidad que le estamos brindando para que puedan triunfar en sus clases. Entonces, por favor, que ellos se pongan en clase en vivo para sorpasar esos 40 minutos que en promedio están tomando los estudiantes en clases. I believe this was it, right? So now, in terms of our, we're also asking help when needed. So we do want to make sure that our students are advocating for themselves and reaching out to teachers. So just like we are reaching out to them on chat, they can also be sending their teachers a personal chat in order for them to get help. So we want them to advocate for themselves and ask for help when needed. Now, in terms of completing assignments, we want students to be able to complete all assignments to passing standards. So we will know that some students right now, not all of them, or maybe not your son or daughter, they're simply submitting assignments just to submit. So in terms of completion, we understand that some things have changed from the spring to the fall semester. We are holding our students to high expectations, and we are wanting them to complete their assignments, but to passing standards, not just simply to complete them. Now, in terms of your averages for Q1, so if your son is in this category, if they failed the Q1 with a 50 or less than a 70, we are asking that you monitor in terms of their quarter averages, because at the end of the year, in order for students to pass, all their quarter grades have to add up to 180 points. So that means that if your son passed with a 50, they would need a 90 or 80, depending on the Q3, Q4 grades, in order for them to be on track to be passing their classes. So a total of 280 points is what is needed to pass that class. Now, estamos viendo, ¿verdad?, que como los estudiantes no se están metiendo a clases, estamos pidiendo que por favor nos ayuden para que los estudiantes triunfen en las clases. Uno, para que vengan a clases en vivo todos los días, no cada otro día, cada otra clase, que vayan a todas las clases en vivo para que puedan para que puedan escuchar lo que están diciendo los maestros. También les pedimos que por favor monitoreen lo que están haciendo los estudiantes durante las clases. A lo mejor no es posible todo el día, ¿verdad? Pero no queremos que los estudiantes estén viendo la tele durante que están tomando clases o están en el teléfono durante las lecciones, ¿verdad? Porque estos estudiantes quieren hacer dos cosas a la misma vez, pero no es posible. Entonces queremos que se enfoquen a total. También queremos que ellos pregunten por ayuda, ¿verdad? Es muy importante que le manden mensaje al maestro o que esté preguntando preguntas en las clases en vivo para poder, para poder resolver el problema que a lo mejor va a tener o no entiende algo. Entonces, que pregunte por ayuda si es necesario. También en el momento, ¿verdad? Vemos que los estudiantes están completando el trabajo, pero queremos que los estudiantes completen el trabajo para que pasen, ¿verdad? No por nada más para completarlo, que esté de buena calidad y que le pongan tiempo y que puedan pasar con un 70 o más, no nada más para que lo completen, porque sabemos que las cosas en la primavera son muy diferentes del otoño, entonces los estudiantes van a tener estas expectativas muy, muy altas porque queremos que pasen y los exámenes, ¿verdad? Y que vayan al siguiente año sabiendo todo lo que deben que saber en séptimo grado. Algo que a lo mejor le aplica o no le aplica a su hijo, ¿verdad? Es en términos de si sacó un 50 en la clase, en la primera trimestre, es importante que monitoree los grados de los siguientes trimestres porque los puntos que necesita para pasar las clases es 280. Entonces, si sacó un 50, entonces tiene que monitorear que saque un 80, 90 o arriba para que esté en paso para pasar su clase al fin de año.
Ms. Medina, we have a Spanish question. I think Mr. Chavez is going to help out from Auda and her parents. So, Mr. Chavez?
Sí, hola, buenas tardes. La mamá de Miss Aura, buenas tardes. En caso que eso pasa, por favor, nomás dile a Aura que en caso que sí pasa eso, nomás que necesita notificar a la maestra por esa clase. Okay, gracias.
Okay, thank you so much. And then Sebastian Lopez had a question. Some of the 7th grade teachers they actually have 6th graders, and so he's not in the class that has it. So I also almost do go because I look at the posts, but I do not know if she has it or 6. Okay, so Sebastian, I can one off with you on that. So after the call, I can definitely get more information. Or if you want to call up, actually do me a favor, Sebastian, can you get off of the mic and just kind of ask that question one more time, please?
Yeah, no, I'm just asking, like, because in example, Miss Miranda's class, she has 6th grade, and she says, like, today's a 6B or a 7A. Mm-hmm. And every single day, like, I try to get in her class because her class starts at, I think, 2:50 or 2:40. And I look at the post, but I don't know if it's my tablet because I'm in my tablet. It says, like, 7A, but it's from, like, an old date. Okay. And I don't have a schedule that says 6B or 7A. And like, every single time I asked her, but that's the thing, I don't want to annoy her a lot. So that's why.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Sebastian, what I'm going to do is after this tomorrow, I'm going to link you and her up, and then we can get on the call tomorrow so we can help you with that question, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Sebastian. All right, Ms. Medina, we don't have any more questions, right?
Now, in terms of, there is a plan that we're going to put in place. This is going to be called our campus OTG plan. OTG stands for On Track to Graduate. Now, in effort to help our students pass their semester and the year, we will be able to change their quarter one grades if students follow a specific plan of action. So that means that they will have to follow specific procedures. Now, this is not going to be automatic just because the student attempts or makes an effort. In this plan, we're going to be changing the grade. So this is something very important to keep in mind as we talk to this slide. Now, the plan is optional for students who receive a 69 or below. So this is not something that we're going to be telling or forcing a student to do. This is an optional plan. If your child scored a 69 or lower in a specific class and you want them to make up their grade, this is going to be an option for them. And this is only opportunity for students who are able to fix their currently now in quarter 2 grades. So I know that we're currently working on quarter 2 grades. This is not applied to quarter 2. This is only for quarter 1. So if a student got a 50 in quarter 1, they will be able to take advantage of this plan. That will possibly change their grade. So again, this is not something that we assume that is going to happen. Students have to follow the plan step by step, everything that is asked for them. Now, this plan will help increase productivity, engagement, accountability, and ensure students are on track to pass their classes. So once again, that this is going to be helping the students that were not able to meet that passing score of a 70 or above. Algo que estamos planeando en términos de los grados para los estudiantes, sabemos, ¿verdad?, que la primera etapa ya se terminó. Los estudiantes que no pasaron las clases con un 70 o más tienen la opción de poder completar este plan para que sus grados se incrementen para la primera etapa, entonces para el primer trimestre. Esto es opcional, no vamos a forzar a los estudiantes, ¿verdad?, que completen este plan. Es algo que queremos que hagan, pero no es forzado, ¿verdad? Esa es la única oportunidad que van a tener los estudiantes para corregir los grados de la primer trimestre. Entonces, para que te tome esto en cuenta, ahorita estamos en el segundo trimestre. Estos grados no van a tomarse en cuenta para el quarter one, que es la etapa 1. Y también queremos que los estudiantes participen más en las clases para que tengan más apoyo en términos de las clases y asegurar que están en progreso para pasar todas sus clases y que estén enfocados y que participen más en sus clases. Now, what is our campus OTG grading plan? So our plan of action for our students is to complete a comprehensive assessments for each of their classes that they failed in quarter one. So what this means that students are going to be receiving an assessment packet for the class that they choose to bring up their grade. Assessments due either in person or email by November 13th. So students still have a couple of days, a couple of weeks to complete this work. Our work must be shown upon submission. So it is very, very important that if it is a multiple choice exam or assessment or work, that they don't simply circle an answer. We want to see their thinking process on paper. So work will have to be shown. Otherwise, we will probably return it and ask for them to complete it again. The work is going to be, the assessment comprehensive packet is going to be available November 2nd in person or via Teams to print. So they'll either, if they can't come to campus to pick it up, they can either grab it or get it collected from their teachers through Teams. Now, OTG signature page due in person or email on November 2nd. So Mr. Mendoza will be putting a couple of documents on the chat, so you can go ahead and take a look at those. Now, OTG pages were mailed out. If you need one, it will also be on the chat. And you also, if you sign the document at home, please email this to Ms. Covarrubias, our college counselor, as she will be keeping track of students who are participating in our OTG grading plan. Now, students must join all their core class lectures daily. Attendance will be tracked. Students will be present the whole class period and participate. So not because they complete the packet that is being asked in the first bullet doesn't mean that their grades are going to change. So students must be attending all their live classes as part of this plan. Now, students must be passing their courses for quarter two with a 70 or above. So we want them, one, to complete that comprehensive assessment package showing all their work, whether it be collecting it in person or virtually, and for students to attend all their classes live and participate and be engaged in that class, and also be passing all their classes for quarter two. So if one of these things does not happen, their quarter one grades will not change. So it is very, very important that these all three must happen at the same time in order for their change to be great for the first semester. Nuestro plan es lo siguiente, ¿verdad? Si usted desea que sus hijos mejore sus grados para la primera etapa en una clase, el estudiante tiene que recoger, o ya sea en persona o virtualmente, un paquete de examen para la clase que desee mejorar el grado. Este trabajo va a estar disponible empezando en noviembre, segundo de noviembre, como le digo, en persona o por el canal de Teams de los maestros. Si usted desea que participe su hijo o hija en este programa, le pedimos que por favor nos devuelva la página de firmar de OTG en persona o por correo electrónico a Ms. Covarrubias, que es nuestra consejera de colegio. Y también, ¿verdad? Si usted necesita un plan como el que estamos hablando, las páginas van a estar en el chat para que ustedes las puedan leer con más tiempo. Aparte de hacer el trabajo, los estudiantes tienen ese requisito que se metan en las clases en vivo todos los días y que participen. No nada más que se metan, ¿verdad? Que sean activos y que pregunten, que hagan preguntas, que respondan a las preguntas que están haciendo los maestros para que puedan estar en buen progreso para poder cambiar el grado de la etapa 1. Si los estudiantes también se pide en este plan, ¿verdad? Que los estudiantes estén pasando la segunda etapa con un 70 o más, ¿verdad? Es muy importante que sepa de que si el estudiante no está pasando la etapa 2 con un 70 o más, o si no está asistiendo las clases todos los días, entonces los grados no van a cambiar para la primera etapa. Entonces, esto tiene que pasar todo a la misma vez para que puedan cambiar los grados. Entonces, por favor, que tengan eso en mente para que este plan funcione para su hijo o hija. Awesome. And then I do remind you, just a reminder, if you have questions, and I think my team's doing a great job in terms of questions, answering questions on the chat box. If you have not done so, please ask those. Si al momento no ha preguntado preguntas en el chat, se le recomienda que las pongan en el chat para que nuestro equipo lo pueda responder. Gracias. Now, if students follow the 3 steps that were previously mentioned, their grades will be changed for quarter 1. So once again, if all 3 steps are followed, then their grades will change. The expectation is that students follow the plan with fidelity for all of quarter 2. So we want to make sure that students are following and being active on teams, turning in all their assignments, and engaging in classes. Now, tutorials may be hosted by their teachers to help with content in terms of their assessment. So some teachers will be hosting live tutorials for students, whether it is during office hours or after school. More information will be provided for that teacher. So once again, make sure that you keep an eye out in terms of when those teachers will be hosting tutorials. Como le mencionaba antes, ¿verdad? Los estudiantes tienen que completar los 3 pasos para que puedan cambiarse los grados de la primera etapa y el primer trimestre. Entonces, es muy importante que si no pasa los 3 pasos, entonces no se le cambiarán los grados. La expectativa es de que los estudiantes completen este plan con fidelidad todo el segundo trimestre para que pasen el segundo trimestre y el primer trimestre. Entonces, que se metan todos los días a las clases, que participen, que completen todo su trabajo a la capacidad de 70 o más. Entonces, también les queremos decir que unos maestros van a andar mandando información a ustedes, padres, para que los estudiantes se conecten para agarrar más ayuda y asesoría en términos de específicas clases. Entonces, para que puedan, más información se va a mandar por los maestros.
Ms. Medina, we have a question from a parent, Maria Marquez. She had asked, have any parents mentioned receiving a letter from IDEA in error stating that, let me see, that their student is failing? We received such a letter even though our student is never failing any classes at any point in time according to the Power School. So Maria, you're more than welcome. Can you get off of mute and just can you explain more on that question, please?
Hi, yes. So early on, we received a letter saying that our child or scholar is failing 1 or more classes. And we've been checking her grades and she was never failing any classes. So I'm wondering if any other parents received a similar letter.
Yeah, so I'm wondering when we sent those out, grades were still in the process of being updated and all that's animated and automated. I'm sorry. So when we send those out and then grades get corrected, and so things like that, that's a great question for a parent or a student just to follow up with the teacher and say, hey, Mr. Mendoza, I see that I got a letter that I'm failing your class, but I'm looking in Power School, I'm actually passing. And so I would probably tell the student, like, okay, that was an error. Those notices went out before I updated the grading. So that could probably just be that.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering if any of the parents had mentioned that, besides myself.
No, this is the first, but thank you though. I appreciate you.
That's it. Thanks.
Yes, thank you. And then once again, the plan for OTG, those were mailed out, so people are actually stuffing the envelope. So it could also been an error in our part. So we apologize. We are singly loading the envelopes with these report cards and the OTG plan. So if that happened by mistake, we apologize. But thank you for letting us know. Now, this time we are also going to post a link for our training. If you decide that this plan will work best, if our students are coming into our campus, we are putting the link to the training. So if you decide that your child will learn better and concentrate or focus in getting to that daily routine of completing all their assignments, attending all their classes. So if you think this is the best option for your child, the link for the training to attend in person will be in the chat. También en este momento estamos poniendo el link de entrenamiento para padres. Si usted desea que el estudiante venga en persona porque cree que va a completar más trabajo, va a asistir más a sus clases, le pedimos, ¿verdad?, que por favor complete este entrenamiento para que pueda tener esta oportunidad de venir en persona. Si también gustaría ponerlo en el chat para poder mandarle más información, lo puede hacer en este momento. So if you'd like for your child to attend in person or get more information, please put the name of your child in the chat box. We are taking all precautions in terms of CDC guidelines. We are providing the students plexiglass. Students are required to wear a mask at all times. And we are screening the students in terms of asking them if they have any symptoms in the morning and doing just like all the things that are required for students to be asked in terms of if they had any symptoms or anything. Entonces, nada más les recuerdo, ¿verdad?, que todos los estudiantes están dando el vidrio, ¿verdad?, transparente para proteger a los estudiantes. También todos los estudiantes están con máscaras durante el día. Durante diferentes clases, ¿verdad? Sí están saliendo afuera para educación física, ¿verdad? Entonces, estamos tomando todas las precauciones necesarias para que todos los estudiantes estén seguros en la escuela. So, like I said before, we are taking all CDC safety guidelines and recommendations that are followed. So we are asking the students to wear their masks at all time. And they are assigned specific rooms several feet away from another desk. So all students are being able to have their personal area, and the plastic sneeze guards are at every desk to make sure that they are protected aside from their mask. Now, we do also have hand sanitizer and hand washing stations available in different parts of our campus. Now, students will have a teacher in the room monitoring at the safety distance to help support and troubleshoot if they need it in teams. Como les decía antes, las máscaras están requeridas para todos los estudiantes. Estamos asignando cuartos específicos para que los estudiantes estén a pies de distancia seguras. Vidrio de plástico para protegerlos aparte de la máscara. Estamos limpiando todos los cuartos, dándoles antibacterial a los estudiantes cuando llegan a la escuela, y también hay estaciones aparte del baño que pueden lavarse las manos. Y los estudiantes tienen al maestro que lo está monitoreando durante el día, si necesita ayuda o preguntas en términos de la aplicación que estamos usando de Teams. Los resultados que hemos visto, ¿verdad?, que los estudiantes pueden mejorar en sus grados y están participando más en las clases, lo que estaban haciendo en la casa. Entonces, as a result, we have seen that our student grades have increased for the most part, and also in terms of we can hold them more accountable for them to be logging into their classes because we're not they're a specific room, and it can produce their productivity in terms of their engagement in class.
Ms. Medina, we have a question in the chat. It just says from Ms. Fields, Is there a way to check that a Nearpod has been completed? Sometimes when I go in to check for my scholar has completed, it appears to be starting over when I have seen her entering data.
So
Go ahead, Mr. Chavez.
Yeah, so I can help answer that question. So from a student end or parent end, you can't necessarily see where you left off, but as a teacher, we can see the report that the student has worked. So for example, let's say if my child is working on Nearpod lesson number 2, whatever it may be, if you have to leave for a doctor's appointment, you can leave and log out. But from our end, we can see that the work they completed. So you can just keep on working from wherever it is that you left.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez.
Another
question.
Does that answer the question?
I believe Ms. Fields. Does that answer the question, Ms. Fields?
Sounds like the answer was no. Right? As a parent, I'm not able to go in and make sure it's completed. Only the teacher can see it on their end, right?
Yes, that is correct. At the moment, yes, there is no way for a student or a parent to see if they have completed it as the student have completed everything. So as of right now, only teachers are able to see if they've started their progress and their end product.
Is there any way to set it up like the other assignments where when I go to check it that it is completed, I can see completed time has been turned in? Is there any way to...
So, Ms. Fields, is there a certain subject that you're not seeing? Maybe we can help out with that, because if you're seeing on other ones, maybe there's just a certain subject that do you know what subject you're trying to see?
Well, sometimes, teachers use the Nearpod and sometimes they use the other type of doc. So I'm mainly focusing on Nearpod, where when I'm trying to double check that everything is completed for the day, I can check that. But I'm just trying to find out, is there any other way that I, as a parent, can make sure it's done? Because if my scholar's telling me it's done and then it's showing up as a missing assignment, I'm just trying to fix that problem.
Ms. Fields, I will answer that because my class heavily involves with Nearpod. If you ever have questions, obviously we're only limited to what we can do on Nearpod from the app itself. But if you do have questions, if that work is completed on a daily basis, you can message me directly. I'm here to help, your child and yourself at any times of the day. Just message me and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez.
And I do want to translate this question just in case other parents have it. Ms. Fields preguntaba, ¿verdad?, que si hay una manera de saber que si el estudiante ha completado su trabajo en la aplicación que se llama Nearpod. A lo mejor lo ha visto que está usando su hija esta aplicación. Al momento dice Mr. Chávez, ¿verdad?, que él solamente puede verlo si el estudiante ha empezado el trabajo, si lo ha completado a medias o si lo ha completado completamente. Entonces, al momento no hay una manera que los padres puedan saber que si han completado esta tarea, ¿verdad? Mr. Chávez, ¿verdad?, su clase usa mucho esta aplicación. Si tiene preguntas en términos de que si su hija ha completado ese trabajo, se le recomienda que le mande un mensaje personalmente a Mr. Chávez, y él le va a contestar cuando pueda.
And then we have a quick question from Ms. Marquez. When are the STAAR testing dates?
Yes, so we do not have specific STAAR testing days as of right now. These exams happen at the end of the year. We are monitoring everything that is released from TEA. So as of right now, we're treating it as these STAAR exams are happening. We know last year these exams were not administered for our students. As of right now, we are on track to administer these exams for our students, but we do not have a specific date for them. La pregunta era que cuándo van a hacer estos exámenes precisamente del estado de los exámenes del STAAR. Al momento no sabemos específicamente cuándo van a hacer los exámenes, ¿verdad? Sabemos que el año pasado se cancelaron por la situación que estamos viviendo. Este año estamos procediendo como si estos exámenes van a pasar. Estamos monitoreando la página de TEA para ver cuándo van a dar más información en términos de la fecha. Are there any more questions?
Yes, there's another question from Sebastian. when he's done with Nearpod, it tells him to start over, and that can kind of confuse him. It's also the same attendance. It pops up over again, like in Mr. Chavez's class. I have to do it in homerooming class. I'll let Mr. Chavez answer that one.
Yeah, so as far as attendance is concerned, the reason why I do that, it's just a notification. So if you already finished it, Sebastian, in homeroom, you're good to go. That's just a notification to remind you to be able to complete that attendance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chavez.
Yes, so now we are getting closer to the end of the presentation. We remind you that if you do want for your child to attend in person in order for us to be able to support them more, or for them to start having that daily routine of logging into Teams, watching their live classes. So if that is something that you are interested, we do ask that you please submit the training that was posted in the chat. And we do ask that all their students bring their laptop that was assigned to them. If there has not been a laptop assigned to them and you are still missing a laptop, please put that in the chat so we can know. We do have a couple of more laptops available. And if we do not, we are expecting a shipment soon. So please go ahead and let us know that if your child is missing a laptop, so we can go ahead and have a communication with you. We also ask that you please have them bring their headphones apart from their laptop and their charger, and also be wearing their mask upon arriving to campus. So once they pull into in front of the school, we do ask that they immediately put on their mask before we check their temperature and ask them screening questions. And also students will be assigned to a specific room, and they are going to be either tagged as they are going home when someone's going to come pick them up, or they're walking home after during dismissal. Le pedimos, ¿verdad?, que si usted decide que la mejor opción para su hijo para que agarre la rutina de regresar a clases y asistir más, que si es en persona, que complete el entrenamiento que se puso en el chat. Le pedimos que el estudiante traiga su computadora a la escuela. Si no tiene computadora todavía, por favor de poner el nombre de su hijo o hija en el chat para saber que no tiene y poder darle más información. Si el estudiante viene, por favor le pedimos que traiga su cargador, sus audífonos, y también que cuando llegue al edificio, antes de checarle la temperatura, que se ponga la máscara para la seguridad de él y para la seguridad de nosotros. También le vamos a asignar a un cuarto, y le vamos a dar un pase por si lo va a recoger usted personalmente, o si caminará a casa cuando salga de la escuela. So this does conclude our STAAR Parent Night. We know we went over grades and other specific information. We thank you all so much for joining us, but we will open up the space right now for additional questions. We ask you that you please come off mute or type them in the chat box. So we appreciate you asking all the questions, because if you have a question, that means that other parents might have a question but do not feel as comfortable coming off our mute or putting it in the chat. So we appreciate all the questions that you might have. En este momento hemos concluido nuestra presentación de STAAR, y ya sabemos que hablamos de los grados, ¿verdad? Le agradecemos que haya tomado el tiempo para reunirse con nosotros esta tarde. Le pedimos, ¿verdad?, que si todavía no ha preguntado alguna pregunta que tenga, que la ponga en el chat, ¿verdad? O que se ponga, que encienda el micrófono para preguntar, ¿verdad? Cualquier pregunta que tenga, ¿verdad? A lo mejor usted tiene una pregunta y otro padre también tiene la misma pregunta, pero no ha preguntado todavía. Entonces, si gusta vamos a tomar el tiempo para contestar más preguntas. Mr. Mendoza, are there any questions in the chat?
Yes, I'm also trying to answer them at the same time.
Awesome.
So Adam also asked, are students allowed to have electives in their schedule or not? Do they pick them? Usually we start having options of electives more into high school. And so middle school would have certain electives, but more in high school, they would have the freedom to kind of pick their electives and schedule as they get older, and credits and stuff. Let me see. Here's another one. Yes, there is a particular username and password for Power School Henry, and I believe Ms. Corubius is gonna just send that to you as well. So it will show you everything and how to do that. Sebastian Lopez has a quick question. In ELA pods before, and I guess Miss, that's probably, I don't know, Sebastian, can you come off of mute? I want to make sure that I have your question correctly.
Yeah, so my question was that in ELA before the pods, Miss Maya or Miss Whitehurst,
Okay.
she had me for fourth period, and they confused me with another Sebastian, and so I had to do now fifth period because I had her now in fifth. And so the thing is that after that, I had to do both. Why I was doing this one, and she explained it why, because one said fifth and one said sixth, and she said that the sixth one was for the fifth period, and the fifth one was for the fourth.
Yeah.
But still, right now, it keeps telling me I have to do both, and like I want to like make sure, because if I'm doing the wrong one, I don't want to fail.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah.
that's a good question, Sebastian, and we're gonna like reach out to you. That's a great question that you can ask your ELA teacher. Mr. Chavez sent you a message as well, but we can definitely make sure that these questions are one-on-one. But we're gonna help you with that question. That's an easy fix. So thank you for bringing that up.
And Sebastian, this is Miss Whitehurst. If you could send me a direct message, like a screenshot of what you're seeing on your end, and I will get with Miss Medina to get that fixed, since it's still not fixed for you. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you.
Ms.
Thank you.
Whitehurst.
No problem.
All right, families, if you don't have any questions, this is your opportunity. You're able to leave our meeting, or if not, you can stay on for a couple of minutes. And like Miss Medina had said, you can get off the mic and ask questions that we don't have to type it in. You can do it in English or in Spanish as well. Miss Medina, you want to translate that for a quick second?
Yes, so en este momento, ¿verdad? Estamos contestando preguntas. Si tiene preguntas, otra vez le decimos, por favor, encienda su micrófono y haga la pregunta usando el chat, ¿verdad? A este momento vamos a concluir la junta. Si no tiene alguna pregunta, está libre de disfrutar su bonita tarde. Le agradecemos mucho por estar con nosotros. Estamos aquí para servirles. Muchísimas gracias. I still see some parents, so if you have any questions, make sure that you come off mute or type them in the chat. Todavía algunos padres que están con nosotros. Si no tiene si tiene pregunta, pongan en el chat, o si quiere encender su micrófono.
There is one Spanish question, Ms. Medina, in the chat.
Sí, veo que pregunta si le va a afectar a mi hija que no pudo hacer sus trabajos y exit ticket. Si nos puede, no sé si puede encender su micrófono para más información, para dar más información para qué clase, o fue en la etapa anterior, el trimestre anterior. Para Aura, fue o si fue hoy que no pudo hacer su trabajo o exit ticket. Fue hoy. Ok, entonces, si fue hoy, pedimos que por favor le mande un mensaje a la maestra o maestro maestra o maestro que no pudo asistir a su clase para que no le afecte. Entonces, para que pueda estar al corriente. Y sí, la junta se ha terminado el día de hoy. Cualquier pregunta que tenga, ¿verdad? Puede encender su micrófono o ponerlo en el chat. Sebastian, do you have a question, Sebastián? ¿Alguna pregunta?
Yeah,
Yes.
at the beginning of the school, they said there were gonna be clubs, but I'm pretty like right now, like we have COVID, we don't have them in person. But is there any like clubs? Is there like in the computer?
Yes, so actually that's a great question. So we do have a couple of options for you, and we can go ahead and send you a flyer that we created in terms of all the clubs that you can possibly join. Okay.
Sebastian, I put it in this meeting chat. It's in there, but I'm gonna go ahead and just send you one directly to your chat of the form. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
And then we still have Isabella or Aura. Todos tenemos a Isabela, Aura. Si alguna pregunta que tengan, por favor de encender su micrófono o ponerlo en el chat. Muchísimas gracias.